you all? Good. You had a good week? Well, good. I'm going to ask you a question that I already know the answer to. Okay? But it's a way of kind of getting into the subject. All right? How many of you have belly buttons? Right. Now that's a silly question, isn't it? Where's your belly button? You don't have to show it to me, just point it. There you go. Yeah, right there. Now what in the world are you doing with that little hole in your stomach? She knows where it's at too, don't you? What do you have a hole in your stomach for? I don't know. You don't know? Well, it was there when you were born, wasn't it? It was there when you were born. Yeah. Well, you were attached to your mother with that belly button. There was a little cord that went between your mother and you. Now that belly button's there. And when you're born, it's cut off, the cord is cut off, and you end up with this little belly button. So the belly button is really, in some ways, the center of life, isn't it? It's where you get life from. Yeah. And there's one other thing about that I've always found fascinating about all of us having spent time in our mother's tummy, attached. But the fact is, we spent all of those months in water. And you didn't drown. 9 months you were floating around growing up in water. You find that fascinating? Yeah. 9 months you were in water, floating around, getting bigger until you were born. And that's why water is so important to us as people of God and so important to God. You know, when God created the world, you know what Genesis says, the first book of the Bible? It says that the Spirit of God moved across the waters. That means the waters were already there. And God created life. Yeah, that's right. And that's how essential water is for us. And today is a very special day in the life of the church because you remember that baby Jesus that we passed around from home to home and was born among us? All of us? Well, suddenly he's grown up to be a big person. Kind of like you all do. You quickly grow up to be big people. Yeah. This sounds weird, but I remember you before you were born. That is weird, isn't it? I just remember a time before you were born. Yeah, because I've been here a while and been able to watch you all grow up, be born and grow up. And it happens fast, doesn't it? And it happens fast in Scripture too, because suddenly before we know it, Jesus is no longer a baby, Jesus is an adult. And Jesus comes to get baptized. And today we're going to read that story about how Jesus is baptized. And so this whole story of how you and I began in water, and how all of life began in water, and how all of life circulates around water, and how dependent we are on water. And today we're going to celebrate those who have been baptized in the church by water. That they can come up here today at the close of the service after my message, and they will be able to touch the waters of baptism. And we're going to have a prayer after my message that blesses this water, that reminds us that we all came from the water of a womb, of a mother, and that God created out of water, and that Jesus was baptized in water, and that we can have new life and life itself through water. Do you like water? What do you do with water? Swim in it. Yeah, you swim in it, don't you? Water's wonderful stuff. A beautiful creation. Wouldn't it refreshing? Isn't that refreshing? You swim at the pool, don't you? Yeah. You don't? Oh, you like water.
I swim in the pool too.
We're going to sing together now a song about baptism. And when we sing this song, it talks about child of blessing and child of promise. And it doesn't just mean you as children because you're young. All of us are children of God. We're all children of God. And so when we sing this song, we're singing about all of us. Children who have been blessed and children who have been given God's promise of life and of new life. So I invite all of you to sing together. Thought it'd be a good time to sing this together, partly because I'm still getting my voice back from my cold virus. Child of blessing, child of promise, baptized with the Spirit's sign. With this water, God has sealed you unto love and grace divine. Excuse me. Child of love, our love's expression, love's creation, love in need, fresh from God, refresh our spirits into joy and laughter lead. Child of joy, our dearest treasure, God you are, from God you came. Back to God we humbly give you. Live as one who bears Christ's name. Child of God, your loving parent, learn to know whose child you are. Grow to